Justin, what's happening, man?
What's up, buddy?
Thank you for coming. Everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Podcast. Alex and Matt here. Justin, appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so it's funny. I don't know if I ever got too much into your background, but we've done a decent amount of deals together.
Yeah.
And so it is kind of cool to do these things sometimes and step back because there's, more important things than just doing deals.
Yeah.
Pretty easygoing type podcast. We like to have an open conversation. You're with New Western here in Austin, Texas. And if you have time, I would love to kind of jump into your background as far back as you want to go. Yeah. Kind of the ultimate goal is to add value for entrepreneurs, business owners, and we'll probably just jump in with some questions. Yeah. But just take the floor, man. Thanks for coming.
Let's do it. Born and raised in Kerrville. Went to A&M, as you know.
Gig 'em.
Yep. Graduated in 2009 from A&M.
Wasn't it construction, right?
Economics.
Okay.
Yeah. Didn't really have a single clue what I wanted to do when I graduated, and obviously wasn't the best time to graduate either. So after I took a job doing real estate appraising in Bastrop.
Okay.
So I moved there in 2010. Did that for about 2.5 years, and it's just one of those jobs where you hit a wall, you can't go any farther. There's no room to really progress. Didn't pay a whole lot.
As an appraiser?
Yeah.
But extremely valuable, right?
I mean, I never would have thought that what I learned there, even though I didn't like it, would play into what I do now. And literally when I left that job, I was like, I'll never use that again. And I can't tell you how many times I go back and just that experience and learning that stuff still carries over to today. So it's kind of funny to go think back, like things you think wouldn't help you or provide value to you in the long run, you never really know.
Right.
So learning, always trying to just learn new things, whatever it might be. You never know when that's going to kind of apply back. Totally. And come back in the long run.
I got my appraiser's license in college.
Oh, you did?
Knowing that I wanted to be in real estate for my career. And my whole thing was, if I can learn how to value like an appraiser, then I'm really going to be doing well, because that's one of the most important things to real estate, understand values.
Yeah.
And I did my boss gave me, and this was in College Station, 6 fireworks stands all over Texas. I remember it was like Brownsville and Edinburgh, wherever it was. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life for real estate. Like appraising fireworks stands in small towns. You don't have comps.
Yeah, exactly. What do you do?
And so
you go income approach on it, and you're open 2 times a year.
But I mean, literally, I measured the buildings. Like my takeaway was, I learned to respect that profession. I learned how hard it was, and I learned how to do it, which was really invaluable. So, I agree with you.
So you graduated in economics, right? Mm-hmm. And then started as an appraiser. Mm-hmm. And then when you left that job, you said that you didn't think you were going to use it again. Were you thinking of getting out of real estate?
I did get out of real estate, actually. I always had a passion for it, but, doing the appraising, it was nice, but it was one-dimensional. That's all it was, right? And if I was going to go into real estate, again, I wanted it to be more than just, hey, go value a home, go value a business, whatever it might be. And so that kind of, I still had an interest for it, but it kind of pushed me away. And also, I guess it was probably 2012, economy still hadn't fully came back yet. Real estate wasn't, I wish I would have known now, or knew then what I know now, different story. But somebody that wasn't just educated in what was going on with the market and opportunities, I just didn't really see it at that point. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was still kind of just up in the air. And I knew a guy from college. His uncle was high up at the one of the largest privately owned directional drilling company in the United States. And so I actually went on to work for them as an engineer, because at that point I just wanted to make money. Mm-hmm. Didn't care what it was. Just wanted to make money. I wasn't making money. So
where was that at?
All over. I was gone probably, I think, out of the 3.5 years I worked there, 1 year I was gone 332 days on site.
Wow.
At the oil rigs?
Yeah, so I didn't actually work on the rigs. They had like trailer offices set up for us. So I operated basically we call it LWD or MWD, which is measuring while drilling or logging while drilling. We think of it as a probe, and we actually put it down hole. It sat behind the bit, and it measured using gamma, like radiation. It would detect different rock formations we were drilling in. I could tell them exactly what direction, so the different orientation. north, south, east, west, up azimuth, inclination. So we had a well plan. Hey, we want to drill here. And then I would basically tell them where they're going real time. I can't remember, it was a long time ago, but every so many minutes or so many feet, we take a snapshot. I tell them exactly could tell them what rock formation we were going through, where we were supposed to be, where we are, so that the directional driller could then correct where we were on the course. And so we did horizontal drilling to drill down and then you drill out. And so it was cool. It was something totally different. I did it for 3.5 years. I worked offshore in Louisiana, all over South Texas, West Texas, New Mexico. I almost had to go up to like North Dakota, but I didn't have to, so that was good.
Thank God.
Yeah, seriously. The best ones were I worked on probably like 6 months or so in the College Station, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, but it was long. I mean, we had worked 12-hour shifts. When you start off, you work from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., and then when you get higher up, you work
6 p.m. to a.m.?
Mm-hmm. So it's full-time. They don't stop drilling unless they're like in New Mexico and there's like endangered species that made at night, they would shut it down. But besides that, it's 24-hour drilling. So we had 2 teams. One worked the day shift, one worked night.
And even then, if the endangered species, you don't spot them, they're not there.
The golden cheek warbler?
Yeah, something like that. I remember we had to shut down a couple of times, like at night, because they're like, that's the mating season, or mating time during the mating season, and everybody's pissed. But, it is what it is. But yeah, I did that for 3.5 years, gone a lot, and it wasn't a set schedule either. So, if you think of like roughnecks, people working on the rigs, most of them are like 2 weeks on, 1 week off, 2 weeks off, or 2 weeks on. Mine was till we finished the job. So there's areas in Texas where you could drill a well in 6 days, and then there's areas in Texas, like in West Texas. I think the longest I stayed on a job was 56 days.
Wow.
Without leaving, not going home, nothing. So, good technical experience. It was something different. I enjoyed it when it first started, but once again, it was just a job that once you get to a certain point, there's nowhere else you can really go unless you want to sit on an oil rig for the rest of your life, which wasn't something I wanted. And back then we didn't have like Zoom or Skype or anything to do interviews. So I was wanting to leave, but it's hard when you're working 300 and some days of the year in the middle of nowhere to go interview somewhere.
Right.
So I actually got lucky. I say lucky. In 2015, the oil and gas market bottomed out and started laying people off. Actually made it almost a year through layoffs, and then finally my turn came. And I remember I was back home. I was home, and they're like, "Hey, sorry, man, we're gonna have to let you go." And I was like, "Awesome, perfect. Talk to you later." I was excited. I was happy. But that opened up a lot of avenues for me. Spending a lot of time out there, really thinking about what I wanted to do, how to get there, goals, and really looking at like the financial part of it. I didn't have a ton of debt. We got married when I was out there, so I had a wife. She had a little bit of debt, but my whole focus, and I got to do a lot of research, was how to be financially responsible. Increasing my credit score. I remember one time when I was still working doing appraisals, it was kind of a shock to me. That's really what kind of started me on the financial responsibility part of it. Is I had a TV from college that went out, and I walked into Best Buy, and they have a Best Buy card, right? And you get 0% interest for a year, or whatever it might be. I'm like, oh, cool, shoot, yeah, sign me up. And I got declined. I didn't have good enough credit. I was like, oh crap, that sucks.
Yeah.
So just starting to do research and stuff like that. Paying off debt, listening to like a lot of Dave Ramsey. So went through that whole thing, debt snowball, paid off everything except for our house, and it just gave me that opportunity and that time to really figure that out. And we made a good amount of money, so I was able to save money. So I wasn't in a situation where I was desperate financially. So when the oil and gas bottomed out, I wasn't in a distressed situation where I had to just go get another job.
Right.
And so I remember I was talking to my wife, and I was like, look, I'm not going to go do that again. I want to sit down, take some time off, and really figure out what I want to do. I want a job where I'm going to be one of the main reasons I really want to get out of oil and gas is I used to have work-related anxiety. I'd have panic attacks when I went to work. I was like, who the hell wants to go to work and have a panic attack?
Right.
And it was crazy. I would pull up, I'd be driving out there fine, and I'd see the oil rig, and I'd feel like I was having a heart attack.
Really?
It got pretty bad where I had to leave. One time I had to get taken off. I basically requested to get taken off a rig because it was just overwhelming. It wasn't anything stressful, really. I mean, it was stressful, but it was just, I hated doing it. I hated being out there. So anyways, going back, whenever I got laid off, just sat there and I said, man, I want to do something I actually like, right? I want to enjoy it, wake up, go to work, and just be happy. And I also wanted it to be a career. I didn't want it to be just another stepping stone, right? Just go from job to job to job, which a lot of people do nowadays. It's not like back in the 50s or 60s where you go get a job and you stay there forever. It's a lot of hop around doing different things. So I remember just sitting there thinking, okay, what are 3 things that I'm interested, passionate about, really? And that I could see myself doing. The 3 things were real estate, finance, and investments. Just 3 things that always had interested me, things I thought I was good at. And I literally typed those 3 things into Google and just clicked search, and Glassdoor popped up with New Western. I was like, what's this? And clicked on the link, read about it. I'm like, this is interesting. It has a lot of the things that I'm looking for. It's about investing. It's dealing with real estate. It's kind of totally different. It just seemed really interesting. Clicked on it, interviewed, and that's all she wrote. I've been with New Western for 5 years in January.
Wow.
So,
And there's probably a lot we can get into, but one of the things that I know about you is you're pretty high up with the company, and so I'm fascinated to learn what that process was like, right? Because it's at least as far as I know, it's pretty competitive there. And you've done a really good job of, I don't know what level you are, but you're definitely not, you're definitely high up. And so what was that process to get from where you were to where you're at, moving up?
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing about New West, everybody starts off as a sales agent. So where I met you, where we're working directly with our investors that we're wholesaling to. From there, you have the opportunity to move into an acquisitions role, which is where you're going out and actually meeting directly with our sellers, negotiating the deals. And then from there, you can move up into lower management, upper management. So one thing I really like about our company is you have that ability to progress if you want it. And it is very competitive. I actually started after a group of we started in Austin in 2015. I didn't start till January 2016. So there was already people there that I wouldn't say established, but had been there, had the longevity on me. And they're great guys, hard workers, cream of the crop. And that's a good, that was one thing also I really like about New Western is we are very competitive, very driven people that they're not just, any slouch off the street, they're hard workers and you got to compete if you want to progress. So it goes with anything, just hard work and desire and communication, really. Letting people higher up than you, at that point in time, Mike, my broker, hey, look, I don't want to just be a sales agent or an acquisitions agent. I want to get into a leadership role. And that's one thing he always said is we're not here to just have sales agents or acquisitions agents. We're here to help mold leaders and bring people up. We don't just want people staying in the same position.
And that's good. I think that's how you build a big business, right? Because otherwise, people just stay stagnant and they cycle through,
and they're gone.
And we see that as well. Like anything we're doing, we're like, my approach is not only do I want you to come work here, but I want to know what you want to do and how to help you get there, regardless of if that's with our company or not.
Yeah,
that I think is a good approach just in life.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really big on goals. So not only just setting, I like to, and it's hard when you don't really know your way. And so the good thing about goals is you can always change them, right?
Yeah.
You just reassess whether it's monthly, quarterly, yearly, every 5 years. But set something out there that you think doesn't even have to necessarily be obtainable, but something that you would like.
Something you're working
Dude,
towards.
I agree.
Exactly.
I have this theory that this is just my theory on keeping it simple. To be happy, you always have to have a goal.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a goal, I don't think that you're going to be happy, whatever it is. And there's always a new goal. You set the goal, you accomplish it, next goal. And it's something about pushing forward, accomplishing, struggling, achieving that is actually what makes people happy.
Yeah.
Because nobody actually wants to sit on a beach in Mexico and drink margaritas all the time. At least for me,
I'd be bored.
I'm like, damn, this is...
I'll do it, but I'll be closing deals from the phone.
There
on
you
my
go.
laptop.
You won't be on the margaritas, though.
No, I'll be drinking Topo Chicos and closing deals
There you go.
on the beach.
Well, if you're closing deals on the beach, then it's great. But I'm just saying, most of the time...
I don't think I could ever just be retired.
Right.
Right. I think one of my goals is, be in the position where I could retire financially.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could ever just hang it up and just stop working. I would just be so bored.
And that's what I love about real estate is that you can be 80 years old and buy a property.
And there's so many different aspects of real estate, right? So you're not just in one realm of it. You can jump around, try new things. You know, you can go from, if you want to buy rentals for single family, up, you know, hey, okay, this is cool, but let's take it to the next level. Let's go buy some multifamily, an apartment complex. There's always a way to kind of up the ante, right?
Right.
You know, if you're flipping, okay, I flipped this. Now, let's do new construction. Let's do development. So that's one great thing about real estate as well, is that there's so many facets, right?
There is. I mean, appraiser and, sales agent, acquisitions agent, management. I'm sure you do some investing on your own as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So going back to, I guess, your original question. So I started off as a sales agent and then was able to move up into an acquisitions role. So going out buying houses, also still working with my investors like Matt to sell on properties. And for me, I think what was able to kind of leapfrog me ahead of some people was just, I like coaching, I like teaching, I like helping people. And I knew that not only do I like it, but that's something you need to get to have in order to be in a leadership role and to be in management. So I kind of just took that upon myself to help train the new guys, take them under my wing, teach them, run trainings, just going above and beyond besides just being there for me and just doing my job that I'm getting paid to, just taking the extra step. And I think that's, in my opinion, kind of set myself apart from others. And then I was given that opportunity because of it. And
it makes me think you took the opportunity, right?
Yes.
That's the key.
Yeah, exactly.
Or created it.
Created it, and then also, performed in the, it was there, but yeah, exactly. You take the opportunity, it's handed to you, here's the cards laid out. What can you do with it to make the best out of it? How do you get to a point? Like, I knew I wanted to eventually have my own office with New Western. So what are the steps to get there? And it's not just about trying to figure it out on your own. It's about using the people and the tools around you as well. So when go to the person that's in that position that maybe you want to be and just communicate.
Dude, I'm glad you said that because I agree. Like, I think people are maybe, hesitant to state where they want to go, but it's important. Even if you're not ready, talk to that person.
Exactly.
Tell them, I know I'm not ready, but this is where I'd want to be. What are those steps? And people are like,
it's funny that, I see the same thing. I mean, I'm the sales manager at our Central Austin location now, and I try telling that to people, and it's just so funny that people are so hesitant to come out and say, hey, look, this is where I want to be at. And I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. If you want something, don't try to do it on your own.
Right.
Learn as much as you can, ask questions,
yeah.
Communicate, talk to the person in the position, just say, hey, like you said, exactly. I know I'm not ready for it now, but I'm just letting you know this is where I want to be. How do I get there? Can you help me?
And I think people are, I don't know why, but maybe they just feel like they're imposing or whatever, but you probably respect that. Even if it's a brand new guy, Justin, no, it's my first day, but I want to do it. You're like, cool.
Perfect. And
but
guess
they're
what?
Perceiving it as like something totally different than that.
Yeah, and for me, it's like, awesome. I'm going to show you how to get there.
Right.
Thank you for telling me. Now let's go to work. Like, these are the things you need to do. Let's do those. Let's focus on that, and then come back to me, and we'll work on the next step.
Yep.
And that was something that I went to Micah and told him that when I first started. Hey, this is what I want to do, and he took it the way I would. Perfect. Let's get you there. This is what you need to do. A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, and then you'll be in a position. So go do this, perform, do these extra things, and if the opportunity comes up, we're going to get you there.
I love it.
But it was that communication and that openness, and then following up too, that really allowed me, once that opportunity was there, to seize it. So it's a lot of hard work, a lot of communication, and putting in that effort, and then taking the opportunity whenever it came up.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a sole commission job when you first started?
100% commission.
And so was that your first commission job before?
Pretty much. I related to the oil field a lot. It wasn't 100% commission, but if I wasn't out in the field working, I wasn't getting paid. So we got paid on, they call it a day rate. We had a real small salary that was nothing. But then you got paid X amount of dollars for every day you're out. So if you're sitting at home, you're not getting paid.
Right.
So it's similar, but it wasn't just 100%. Because you can come to work here at New Western, you can work all day long on weekends and stuff. And if you're not doing it right, or you're struggling, you're not making a sale, you're not making a buy, you're not making any money. So it was a different level of 100% commission for me.
Gotcha. And so was that different for you? Did that make you nervous at all? Or?
Absolutely. I mean, I remember interviewing with our other broker, Nate, and just talking about it. And I mean, I think with anybody that's never been 100% commission, it's got to be something you think about. It shouldn't just be, oh yeah, I'm good. Good thing is, like, working in the oil field and having that background made it a lot easier, because I was already used to it. Hey, if you're not working, you're not getting paid. So it's similar, but not the same thing. But I talk to this when I'm interviewing people to come on. I kind of say the same story. It's 100% commission. It's not for everybody. If you're the type of person that needs a steady paycheck, hey, I got to get paid every 2 weeks, and that's okay. I don't care about, maybe having a higher salary. I'm okay with sitting next to somebody else, working harder than them, and we're getting paid the same. But you have that stability, and you need that paycheck every 2 weeks. Like, this is not the job for you. Like, don't even bother.
Yeah.
Now, if you have the mentality of betting on yourself, knowing that no matter what, I want to be successful, as long as I'm given an opportunity. That's the type of mentality you have. Yeah. I'm going to be successful. I'll bet on myself over anybody else any day of the week, no matter what it is.
I agree. I said this the other day. Like, if you're working for somebody and there's not necessarily anything wrong with that, in my opinion, you're technically betting on that other person.
Yeah.
So
bet on yourself.
Right.
And it's a high risk, high return.
Yeah.
You go do a 9-to-5 job. You're not going to you're capped out. You might have to work weekends. You might work harder than the person next to you, and you still get paid the same. But you like that stability? Okay, cool. I would rather go and take that, what I call a leap of faith, betting on myself, and knowing that, I might not make any money, but then there's uncapped potential.
Right.
And as long as I work hard, I can make even more money.
I've always been an entrepreneur, so I'm a gambler, risk taker. I don't have these. I can't think the other way.
Yeah.
But what's the transition? Because I think I know, but from salary to day one of full commission to I'm scared to now the world's open and it's exciting. Is it day 2, month 6?
It's
day 1.
I think everybody kind of has their own path. Some people get it really quickly and start making sales immediately, so it's a little bit easier transition. I think no matter what, though, I always say it's kind of like a roller coaster. Or a wave. You're gonna ride. You're gonna have your highs and your lows. And anytime you're in a 100% commission job, I think mental strength, the mental part goes into it. Like 95% of my job is just staying straight mentally. Because if you get in your own head, man, if you are on a high and you come down and you stay there, you could just bottom out. And I always tell people, you want those waves of the high and the low to get as close together so that you're just consistent.
Yeah.
So for me, I started off hot and it was great. And then I hit a wall. And it happens to everybody. It's just a matter of when. And it's kind of like a reality check, right? What am I doing? Did I make the right decision? Is this really cut out for me? I haven't made, there was a month or so where I didn't make any sales. When I first started, I was like, oh crap. I got a family to provide for. You just start almost second guessing yourself. And I remember having a conversation with Mike about it. He's like, dude, you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. It just takes time. You got to build a book of business. It's not easy. It doesn't fall in your lap. But he's like, you're doing all that. He's like, don't worry about it. I'm like, all right. I'm not going to second guess myself, push through it. And literally like 2 weeks later, I went out on like a sell rampage and sold like 5 houses in 1 month. And then that's when it kind of started opening up your eyes. And it goes back to also just being financially responsible too. Setting yourself up to where you can take those risks and knowing and just having the bigger picture, right? The broad thing. Okay, I know that there's a possibility I could not get paid this month or next month or 3 months. But if you set yourself up, you put yourself on a budget to where you can hedge that, right? So you can withstand it and know that going into it makes it so much easier because you've already prepared for it. Mm-hmm. And then when things start going and you start making money, then it's easy. Then you're just saving. Then you're thinking, okay, what am I going to do with my money? How do I invest?
How do I flip this? Let's multiply it.
Exactly. And so then it's about putting your money to work, and then always keeping that that safety net there, right?
Sure.
And then putting your money to work. Don't just let it sit there stagnant.
I agree. You're preaching to the choir, man. We both drive Priuses. We both don't like money sitting around. And one of the things I always talk about to our team is like, it's concept of staying power. If you can stay in the real estate business, there's a big deal around the corner.
Yeah.
But you got to be in it.
Well, and a lot of it has to do with the mental part. 95% mental. I would agree 100%. And I think it's extremely important because everybody's human. Even if you're a hustler and a killer, and you're out there finding deals and closing deals, there is something that could happen. Coronavirus hits. That fear sets in. Everybody experiences some fear at some point. And it's about, walking through that, not sitting in it like you're talking about, or you are going to bottom out. Mm-hmm. And you see that often is people experience that fear, that 100%, commission. It's like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. Or am I able to show up every single day and close deals? I've never, assigned a deal before. How am I going to go out and build these relationships with sellers? And I think it takes that person who just is willing to, either not have the fear or just be able to walk through that fear and face it no matter what.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with just believing in yourself and just having, and like I said, it's not everybody. Not everybody has that mentality where you would bet on yourself over somebody else. Like, you got to have that mentality where it's almost like you're standing in a room with like Michael Jordan and you're betting who's going to win a basket, one-on-one. And in the back of your head, you're like, okay, this is the greatest basketball player in the world, but I think I can take
it. I love it, man. Come on.
You want to have that mentality. And
Mike's
that's
old,
what
I'm going to break his ankles.
Yeah, exactly. All right. How can I get the advantage on my side? But that's the mindset you have to have in the 100% commission. And I've seen people try to, I have it, or try to force it, and it just doesn't work. So it is a small group. Everybody just, like you said, it's an entrepreneurial mindset, right? Because when you're 100% commission, you're an independent contractor, it's like your own business. And I tell my sales agents, run it like your own business, because that's what it is. We give you the tools to be successful, but the only person that's going to make you successful is yourself.
Right.
And so having that mindset's big.
I love it, man.
But yeah, so I wanted to, I guess it was about 2 years ago, moved into a sales manager role. So I was still buying, selling houses, but now I'm managing a sales team, training them, just, being a part of just trying to make everybody better, bring them up. And once again, that wasn't the end goal, right? I wanted to have my own office. So just stay in communication with the person above you to where you want to go. Somebody that can actually help you. I can't tell people that don't ask questions. That always concerns me.
People what?
They don't ask questions. I have new salespeople come on and they're just quiet or think they know everything. And you don't. I don't. I learn something new every day in real estate, which is awesome. But it's the people that ask questions that I like, that I'm drawn to, because they want to learn. They want to get better, right? And those are the people I feel like are more successful. If you think you know it all, or you're just sitting there quiet, like it's hard to progress. So ask questions, reach out to people in other positions, find like a mentor, somebody that can help you, somebody you can ask questions to.
Right.
I'd like to bounce ideas off people, because maybe the way I'm thinking isn't always the best, even though I always think I'm right.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not always.
Dude, I agree.
There's probably people that are really watching it like, you're bullshit.
No, I mean, Alex and I was telling Jeff on the way over here, like, I feel like we're getting a master's degree every day. We are sitting across the table from hundreds of people. What are we doing? Asking questions.
Yeah.
We're learning.
That's how you do it. You learn and you just try to get better. So, my next step was wanting to open up my own office. And that was a process. Little things just kept happening. We were going to open up in South Austin. We were going to go up to Waco. Then they changed their mind. And then this happens. And we're supposed to open up at the beginning of the year. Then Corona happens. And so once it's mental, right? You think you're doing anything right, but things outside your control are going to happen.
Right.
You can't control them. So you just got to keep knowing that you're doing it right, stay in communication, and keep working towards it. So it was a lot longer process than I wanted, but that's life. I mean, you can't get upset about it. I think a lot of people that I've worked with in the past, and just people in general, they let that overtake their mindset. Things that are out of their control are going to affect the way that they move forward. Like, I could easily be like, I'm going to quit, or I'm going to go do something else. Why? Because something outside my control or my company's control affected it negatively. It's kind of, Corona, no one could have expected, what are you going to do? Cry about it? You just persevere, you keep doing, you keep moving on. And
dive in and go deeper.
Yeah. And you just
what opportunities are available now that weren't available?
Yeah. And so, it was, I don't know, about a month and a half, 2 months ago, Mike came and said, hey, we're finally going to move forward, opening up your own office. So I'm going to open up an office in South Austin and specialize kind of San Marcos, Kyle Buda area. And we're starting that January 1st. So, finally, to that point. And so it'll be 5 years in, and was able to kind of take the stepping stones.
What does having your own office look like?
So I'll just have my own teams, kind of like where I'm at now. Now our central location's going to be obviously a lot bigger, but basically being a broker at that office, you're going to have your own team, basically your own acquisitions team, hiring my own sales team, and kind of bringing it up. Not different, but the kind of the way I want it. I'm in control of that, and it's kind of still under Mike's umbrella. It's cool. It's basically a satellite office, but I get to run it. Run my office the way I want to.
And that's an exciting area of the market. That south.
Yeah.
I feel like it's still kind of untapped in a lot of ways. So
I think
that's going to be cool to see the deals that you guys start coming up with.
Yeah, I'm excited. So that's about to start, and then who knows? There's other opportunities. Open up other offices. You never know. And the great thing about with New Western, just being with a brokerage or somebody where you're learning and you have room to move up and just do different things is it's like you're getting an education every day, like we already talked about. And I didn't know anything about investing. I mean, I was interested in it when we started, right? But I went on New Western, and it's like I got paid to get an education in real estate investing, learning from Matt, learning from my other investors that I work with. You make connections with lenders, contractors, just all this different stuff, and I was able to not only get paid to do my job, but learn how to do what everyone else is doing, and then implement that yourself. And so kind of going back to the goals, like I had goals that I wanted to achieve, and I always tell people like, what I say far out. For me, far out might be 15 years. For you, it might be 1 year. Whatever it is, something kind of in the unknown. And set that goal and then work backwards. Okay, so if I have a 15-year goal, what do I need to do to get there? Okay, well, in 10 years, I need to have this. 5 years, I need to have this. Okay, well, what do I need to do in the next every year for the next 5 years to get to there? Okay, I need to do this, this, this. Okay, so every year, what do I need to do to get to that goal? Okay, I need to do this every quarter. Every 3 months, what do I need to do? And you break it down from a macro down to a micro, and to where it's on a day.
And then boom, you start knocking out steps.
Exactly, because when you think about it, like, oh man,
then
I
your
want
goal
to
becomes small.
Exactly. I want to have this big thing that just seems so overwhelming and so out there. That's unattainable.
It seems like
but
that.
if you break it down to like, what do I have to do today to get there? It's
right.
Go make 100 calls, or set a couple meetings, or make a new contact. It's something as easy as that, but it all goes every day, builds up till you get to that goal. And so that's what I would say. You mentioned something earlier about if you don't have a goal, you're not doing anything. I always say, if you don't have it, where are you going? What are you working towards? If you don't have a goal, you're like a feather floating in the wind, right?
Right.
You have no path. So set a path, set a goal, and then figure out how to work to get there.
Do you have a goal for your sales office yet? In terms, I don't know how you would view it. Do you view it in terms of production, in terms of deals done?
It's volume based, and we're still analyzing everything right now. So we're in that process of hiring and then setting kind of all my expectations on what I want and setting those goals as well. But we're working on all those numbers right now.
Nice. Let's talk about Austin, Texas.
Okay.
The market. Okay. How do you view the market? Like
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, are you guys kind of analyzing the market in a lot of ways?
Absolutely. I mean, we're always looking at it, just trying to stay ahead of it, just like anybody else, which is tough. It's Austin. Inventory, there's none, so it's tight. It's a fight to just get any kind of property right now, and especially getting it at the right price. Right. So it's very competitive. Prices are skyrocketing. Appreciation is. I guess the one thing. I almost hate saying it, but you can almost buy bad right now and still make out okay in the long run, just because with appreciation and values going up so much. I don't recommend that, but that's kind of the feeling I get sometimes when I go back and look at these properties. I'm like, that made perfect sense now looking at it, but obviously real estate's speculative. You got to take risk, but maybe not that big of a risk.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so other than that, for people that actually don't know anything about New Western, because we just kind of jumped in, like what is New Western? What do you guys do? How do you help investors?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're a real estate investment brokerage, so we just specialize only in investment properties. So our specialty is finding off-market investment grade properties. Right now, we're probably doing anywhere from 25 to 35 properties a month. About 85% of those are off market, so they're not on MLS. And so what we provide to investors, Matt, Andrew, we basically we'll go out there. We're the boots on the ground, right? Marketing costs a ton of money. Going out and just procuring leads, finding these properties, it takes a lot of time. So we're kind of almost like the easy button for investors, right? We're going out there, we're doing our own marketing, we're sourcing the deals, we're going out and negotiating it at a price that we think has enough profit margin in the deal for an investor. We're analyzing with the CMA on that particular property, what it's worth, estimate the rehab, and then we provide that in a nice, neat project analysis packet, and we send that directly to your inbox. So for an investor, whether you're experienced or you're brand new, just seeing extra inventory. I mean, who doesn't want to see that, right?
Yeah.
You might not buy a house from us, or you might buy, a couple or whatever it might be, but just seeing the inventory, seeing what things are going for, prices, I think it's a great tool no matter what for an investor to get an additional 30 properties just sent directly to their inbox, on a monthly basis. So we source deals for investors, bring them right to their inbox, and I think we're a great source for seasoned investors or brand new ones. Whenever I was focused fully on sales, I worked with a lot of brand new investors, and it was good for them. I was, able to kind of show them the ropes. Hey, this is how you analyze a deal. This is what you look at. Here's some, oh, you need a cabinet guy or a flooring guy. Here you go. Here's some contacts. Showing them little tricks of the trade. So I think some people have like a negative stereotype about newbies in New Western that we might be taking advantage of them. I disagree. I teach all my sales agents to, we want to make sure that, if somebody's buying a house, they've done all the due diligence. They've gotten contractors out there. They've looked at the property. They've run the numbers, getting second opinions on it. Don't just trust the information I give you, right? Make your own informed decision.
No, you're right.
And I'm here to help you do that, give you any information you need. I'm here to facilitate it, but at the end of the day, it's your decision. But it's a great way for a new investor to get started just learning the processes. And then you can take it on to your own. But
you're right, man. And the deals that I've done with you, you've been very detailed on the construction side, and we talked about the rehab, and you actually knew the numbers pretty well. That's why I was thinking A&M, like construction science or something. But you have a really good understanding of construction costs and stuff like that. Where did that come from?
I think just trying to learn in general, but the biggest thing is just doing your own projects, which I encourage, all of our people. Most of the people working in New Western, except maybe if they're brand new, have done a flip, done a rental. And that's the only way you're really, really going to learn, right? You can read books, you can read, YouTube podcast, and all that kind of stuff. But until you get in it and you actually figure it out, like, oh, damn, that's really what it costs. That's when it really comes into play. So just doing my own projects, doing flips, I'm more of a buy and hold guy now. I've done the flips. It's fun, cool. It's just a quick turnaround. I like the long term. So just doing that experience, real world experience. Sure. Finding a mentor, go piggyback off of another investor that you're learning from, and you'll get to see the cost and stuff there. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a matter of just getting out there and taking that leap and doing it yourself.
Yeah, totally agree, man. Well, I think, New Western's great. I bought multiple deals. I'm excited that you're going south.
Yeah, man.
What are ways that we or listeners can add value for you? Anything you can think of off the top of your head?
Just
send more investors your way.
Yeah, send more deals.
Or hustlers to come join the team.
Yeah, absolutely. If you know anybody that wants to join the team that thinks it's interesting, love to sit down and talk. I mean, really, it's for me at the end of the day, it's relationships with. Like between you and me, where just sharing information, sharing contacts, helping other people. I feel like in real estate, you don't see that a lot. I think it's a lot of cutthroat.
People are short, dude. So somebody that I know called me yesterday, and they said they're getting into San Antonio to start wholesaling. Mm-hmm. They said, "Do you have any investors?" I texted him 15 names, and that's a different mindset than a lot of people have. Yeah. A lot of people say, give me $50 per name, or, how am I going to get paid, or blah, blah, blah. I don't even begin to let myself think that way.
It's a relationship.
Yeah.
And I tell people when I'm meeting them for the first time on the sales side is, look, what the average person sells their house every, 5-7 years. So you use a realtor every 5 years. Well, I don't want to sell a house once every 5 years. I want to sell you 5 houses a year or 7 houses a year. And you don't do that if you don't have a relationship and you're focused on that relationship, right? If you're just out there to make a quick buck, I tell people all the time, I mean, I have such strong relationships with the core group of people that I work with, like yourself, that, you have that trust there because you have a different mindset than a lot of people in real estate. That are out to just cut your throat. I mean, I've had people bring me a lead and I've gone and contracted it directly with the seller. And, I could make $50,000, $100,000, $20,000, whatever it might be, but they trust me to build them into it.
Right.
But they have enough faith that, hey, I'm going to send Justin out there to go and do it because they trust me. Mm-hmm. And I tell people all the time, I mean, even if I was going to make $100,000 on one deal, it's not worth ruining a relationship.
Right.
Because I would rather do multiple deals with that person and continue that business and have that good reputation. So Back to answer your question, any advice, building relationships you can give, being able to help other people, whether it's contacts or just, bouncing ideas off somebody or, other investors, it's fun now. It's kind of not flip flop, but at first I was learning from all my investors, and now we're like even.
Yeah.
Because now they're asking me for advice, I'm asking them, and so it's cool to be you go through that cycle, that whole process of starting where you know nothing, and now you're a member of the community where you can actually help out and give advice. So, any information, any education, market knowledge, I mean, happy to share it. Anybody wants to talk more about the possibilities with New Western, be happy to. And
How can people get a hold of you? What's the best way?
I don't know how the best way to do it on a podcast.
Come through me?
Yeah.
I'll connect them to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just reach out to me. I'll hook you up with Justin.
Yeah, perfect.
Right on, man. Well,
Sweet.
hey, we
Well,
really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Excited about South
New
Austin.
office.
Yeah. I've been pushing you for years to get into more multifamily. Maybe that will happen one day.
Yeah, I'm absolutely. I still think about. I was thinking on the way here. I was like, God, how many deals have Matt and I done together? I always think about that treehouse one.
Yeah, dude. That was one of the best deals.
See, I wanted to mention this if we have a second. It's like people always get into like, oh, New Western, their deals are too tired. They don't make sense. But no one ever understands we have such a broad buyers network.
Yeah.
That just because the investment strategy doesn't make sense to you doesn't mean it's going to make sense to somebody else.
And then people hopefully know I tell it like it is, right? And you can say whatever you want about New Western. I've done, I think, 7 or 8 deals with you, made money on every single one of them. And I just think the investor has to do their own work, and you're just presenting it. I've never felt pressured into buying
I'm there to
anything.
answer questions for you. Like, hey, you have a foundation, but what do you think about this? And how many deals have you passed on? Quite a few.
Oh, yeah,
So
plenty.
they don't all work, but you got to be able to, you can't get frustrated about that, but you have a vision. I think Matt, there's sometimes where Matt's buying a house. I'm like, what the hell? What's he doing with this? And then afterwards he's like, yeah, I killed it. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that. So you never know about somebody's investment strategy and what they're thinking, but it's another way to learn and kind of just look at the deal a different way. But I always remember that treehouse one.
Dude, I sold that property and did really well.
So.
I wish I would have kept it.
That's
but
a cool house.
Still did well. Bought a condo downtown with that money.
Nice.
Yeah. So appreciate that deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, man. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, we're here to help any way we can. Reach out to me. I'll connect you with Justin. And thanks again.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Justin.
Thanks, guys.